1 minute, and Tarl is ready.
Then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
You're out.
All right, welcome to the show, Fifth Street Soccer here on the Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio Networks, also American Forces. We'd like to welcome in all of our servicemen and women around the world listening on the American Forces Network. I'm Nick Geber. It's great to be with you today. Coming up in the next segment, we'll be joined by a special guest on the phone, Mr. Tarl Smith. As Nick Webster has decided to take the day off, I suppose we'll give him a day or two off every now and then. In the meantime, we've got a lot to get to today. We're going to talk about the Premier League. Big news coming out of Manchester City. Manchester City star, there's just no other way to say that. He is probably the best player on that team. Kevin De Bruyne is out for up to 3 months with a knee injury. Let's discuss what, if anything, that's going to mean to Manchester City in terms of their desire to repeat as champions for the first time since 2009. Let's talk about Man City. Let's talk about Liverpool. Let's talk about the matches coming up this weekend. But while we have Tarl on the phone today in the next segment and beyond, we are going to discuss Tottenham, the new stadium, and is there pending disaster like there was at Arsenal when they moved from Highbury to the Emirates? Lots to get to today. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. Find us on Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. Find us on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. And if you have something to say, you want to pipe up, you want to chime in, you want to speak your mind, let's hear you. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Give us a call. We are waiting to chat to you about the Premier League. And if you're saying, why aren't you talking about Major League Soccer? Well, if you listen to the show, you know we almost never talk about Major League Soccer. So we will just leave it there for you. And the Super Cup, European Super Cup, is going on as we speak. We'll give you some updates onto that if you really care. It's Real versus Atletico, and it was 1-1 last time I looked, but do you really care? That's the question. All right, that's what's on the table. Those are the topics today. We're also going to take a look at all the matches coming up over the weekend. We're not going to handicap them for you because the money lines aren't out yet, but I think Tarl and I will give you our best bets as to who we think is going to walk away with the points over the weekend. All right, I'm Nick Geber. This is Fifth Street Soccer. Andrew's producing, and it is great to be with you. We're with you every weeknight from 1 p.m. Pacific. By the way, starting next week, we got a time change. We're going to be on at 6 p.m. Pacific for you. That's 9 p.m. Eastern, so be sure to stay with us. All right, we're going to step aside, take a break. I'll be right back with more.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774. Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
All right, we're back on Fifth Street Soccer. Nick Eber with you. Lots to get to today. Of course, coming up this weekend, we've got a full slate of Premier League matches. A couple of weeks, by the way, then we have another week break. I don't know if it's a cup break or if it's international break. Maybe Andrew can figure out what the break is, I think around September the 9th. We'll find out if it's another of these awful FIFA break. Although with the Nations League, maybe it'll be a little bit more interesting. It has been, I personally cannot stand FIFA breaks. They generally, for me, just interrupt my beloved Premier League. But that's the way it goes. All right, Tottenham. Let's talk about Spurs for a minute. And before we start the discussion, it's only fair to bring in somebody on the Spurs side of the table. Let's bring a special guest, Tarl Smith, on the line. Tarl, how are you, my friend?
Hello. I'm very well. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Tarl, let's talk about Spurs for a minute. The move away from Wembley is been delayed yet again. I know the fans are spitting mad about that, combined with the fact that Spurs managed to be the only team in the modern era to accomplish the feat of not signing a single person during the transfer window. A strong squad to begin with, let's be honest. A squad that's gelled, that's been there for a couple of years with a manager that has a system in place. But are you scared that you're seeing sort of mirrors of Arsenal and Highbury and the Emirates?
Not really. And for this reason, we played a whole season last season at Wembley. So it's nothing new to us. We've played away from home, obviously, for a great period of time. And we had a relatively good season last season. So that side of things doesn't really affect us that much. And I think we've got a good, solid squad that's obviously not changed much. So we're pretty concrete going forward into the season. Off the field, it worries me. The fact that we can't get the stadium built on time and Daniel Levy's making us look stupid again. We're always a target for other fans. In the words of the Black Eyed Peas, where is the love?
Yeah, Tarl,
and he doesn't help us.
As a Spurs supporter, I mean, were you more insulted by by Daniel Levy's sort of heartfelt apology to the National Football League about having to move their stadium, their match back to Wembley, but yet not a single apology to Spurs fans?
Yeah, definitely. There certainly seems to be a bit of a disconnect between what he's doing and the fans at the moment, and that's been building up for a while, and it was reflected in the fact that we didn't make any signings, and there's a lot of fans that were upset at that after what Pochettino had said earlier towards the end of last season, that we were going to bring players in.
Well, when I'm making the comparison to Arsenal, Tarl, that's really where I'm going with this, because it wasn't so much that Arsenal during the construction period of the Emirates played poorly. It was the fact that once the Emirates was built, look, if you were an Arsenal supporter, and I'm speaking to a Spurs fan, so obviously you have nothing but hatred for the Gunners, but and sorry to make the comparison for you, it's probably making you break out in a rash, but if you remember, the discussion was, well, we're not going to be spending all this money on players because we want to move into the new stadium and we want to be as debt-free as possible so that we can enjoy the fruits of all of this revenue with all these extra seats. As a result, we'll be able to sign a lot more players and have a lot more available cash flow in the long run. Of course, that never panned out, whether that was that Usmanov and our friend in Colorado did not make money available to Arsene Wenger or not, or whether Wenger was just too cheap. I mean, we just will never know. But is that a possibility? Are you seeing that? Is maybe this whole stadium thing a way for Levy to make more money that's not necessarily going to be made available to the team?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly looks that way. I mean, I may be different to the most common fan because I can separate the business side and the soccer side and take a back seat and understand the reasoning behind it. And we are building some incredible facilities, an incredible stadium that's not been seen in the Premier League before. It's going to host the NFL games. So from a financial, commercial side, I get it. What worries me is it's not going to translate over to the football side of things, and the disconnect between the chairman and the fans.
Well, that is always the danger. Of course, Stan Kroenke is who I was referring to, that other bloke. Of course, Kroenke now taking control of Arsenal from Usmanov, and of course, I mean, he always had control, but the 20% that Usmanov owned was meant that there was an ongoing ownership dispute. Now that's all clear. We'll see how much Kroenke is really willing to invest. But that's Arsenal. Let's get back to Spurs a minute. Let's talk about the league. It seems to me that with Spurs not making any signings and the other teams in the top six, shall we say, having bolstered their squads, do you think this is going to be a difficult season for Spurs?
Listen, I mean, obviously, there's a slight biasness to what I'm about to say, but I'm not worried as far as the on-the-field products. We've got some great players, evident from the World Cup when the majority of our squad were playing in the semi-finals, so whether it be for Belgium or England. We're only building on that by sticking with that squad. They're young, they're coming through, they show a great deal of potential, and I'm okay with that. Now, I get it, we haven't won anything, and that argument keeps coming back. But I'd rather be progressing in the right way with what we have than panic buy-in and trying to fill gaps, which is what Man City aside, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, all trying to fill gaps and problems that they have in their squad. When I look at our squad, I don't see any huge problems apart from maybe the depth. But you can't go out and spend 60 million on someone who's going to ride the bench. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, and that's your Liverpool.
Yeah, of course.
Well, if you sell Coutinho and you have all sorts of money to spend, I suppose you can. Although Shaqiri didn't cost 60 million, let's be honest. So a third place finish last season, Tarl. I think Spurs had a great season last season. They looked absolutely unstoppable at times. They did have a little bit of a blip now and then, and that's obviously the reason that they failed to close that 4-point gap with United. But I mean, I just ask you this question. I mean, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal all finished below Spurs last season. Where do you realistically see them finishing this season? I mean, to take your diehard supporters cap on and put your analyst cap on and tell me where you think they're going to end up at the end of the season.
Well, when I look at it from an analyst standpoint, I look at the history of what we've done the last 4 seasons. And I mean, barring an unbelievable run from Leicester, in which we finished third that season, and then the season after Chelsea went on that unbelievable run, we finished second that season. And then we look at last season and Manchester City were just unstoppable, and we finished third that season. We'll be there or thereabouts again. Hopefully we, as a team that can get on one of those unstoppable runs where teams start to fear us and the momentum takes you through. We finished above Liverpool, I think, the last 7 seasons, despite them spending all the money they've spent. So we'll be there or thereabouts. I honestly believe we'll be top 4 again. Will we break in the top 2? I mean, a lot will be decided in this first couple of months, because that's where really you can drop the points and be out of the run before it's even begun.
Right. The point I was making last week, of course, is that the danger on these early season games before the teams get bedded in, before your players all come back fully rested from international duty, the little sort of summer, either the summer blues or the international tournament injuries are all worn off, is the great danger of dropping early points. When we come back,
Exactly.
we're going to talk about the matches coming up this weekend. Tarl and I will go through them. We'll tell you who we think is going to end up where over the course of the weekend, and see if the big teams will be able to hold their own, and we'll give you the best of our analysis. We're talking with Tarl Smith, a coach, so we'll talk a little strategy with him as well, but also a die-hard Spurs supporter. I personally, Tarl, I love to watch Spurs, a great team, lots of wonderful English players on that team, but I think you're going to struggle this season to repeat the success of the last couple of seasons, only because I think the teams around you have gotten better, and I think they're going to close that gap and surpass Spurs. Also, you got away last season being relatively injury-free, and that, as you know, is like Russian roulette. All right, we'll pick up the conversation on the other side. I won't have the last word before the commercial break. I'll let Tarl respond to that when we come back on Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio. Don't go anywhere. Be back in 3 minutes.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
Not too long ago, it felt good to withdraw your cash from the bank, didn't it? For a vacation or a new car. But today, withdrawing your own cash has become risky. Pat Boone here for Swiss America. According to The Secret War, a new Swiss America white paper, I learned that all banks are now required to spy on you and me for the government, and then report any financial behavior deemed suspicious or unusual. You must read The Secret War. It's free. Truth is, I believe the government's new war against cash is really a war against us all. But the secret is now out. So please, get and read The Secret War.
Pick up your phone and call right now. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. Once again, that's 800-932-5517.
In times of economic uncertainty and chaos, your money means nothing. You may not even be able to get it from your bank or ATM. And the money you do have in the stock market will go down and down. What you can bank on is gold and silver. Gold and silver have been a reliable and trusted form of currency for thousands of years. Gold and silver have never been worth zero, and typically gold holds its value during economic turmoil. Call the Gold Hotline now and learn how to protect your money and your assets with gold and silver. And learn how to set up a new IRA or roll over your current one into a gold-backed IRA. Protect your money from the next market crash with gold and silver. Call now for your free gold guide.
800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. 800-535-7789. That's 800-535-7789.
All right, welcome back. Fifth Street Soccer. Lots to get to today. I'm Nick Gieber, chatting with Tarl Smith on the guest line. We'll welcome Tarl back to the show. A couple of things we're going to get to. We're going to look at the matches coming up this weekend in the Premier League. And I want to revisit this Raheem Sterling story that we talked about yesterday, Nick Webster and I, where Ian Wright had said that criticism of Raheem Sterling was racist. Now we have a new voice speaking up about this in Lord Herman Owsley, chairman of Kick It Out of Racism, said the football management bodies, FIFA, the FA, the Premier League, that they should be brought in to tackle these concerns. So we're going to get to all of that. But in the meantime, Tarl, before the break, I was letting rip a bit on your team. What's your response?
Slander. But there's other teams have spent lots of money in previous seasons, and we've never done it. It's not like this is a blip. We didn't sign anybody. Oh no, the sky's falling. I mean, last season the only player of note that we bought around this time was Sanchez, and he was a bit of a gamble at the time. And the top clubs weren't knocking down the door to buy Sanchez. I mean, he's gone on and he's played. He had a wonderful World Cup, and we can see what a great player he is. Season before, we bought Sissoko and Wanyama, again, good players, but they're not the blockbusters that the other clubs are bringing in. So history suggests that we've never done it before, and we still finish in the top four. So to write us off because everybody else is improving and we're not is just null and void based on previous seasons.
Well, fair enough. I'll accept your argument even if I don't agree with it. But let's move forward from that. Tarl, this weekend, Manchester City are going to host Huddersfield at home. One would expect them to take all 3 points from that match. But what impact in the long run over the next 3 months do you think Kevin De Bruyne's injury is going to bring to this club?
Well, it's a huge loss, obviously. He's a great player. He's a wonderful player technically and tactically, and he keeps them ticking over. Great range of passing, and he's so creative. Like, he can create something from nothing. That being said, he did miss 12 games last season with a similar injury. Obviously didn't affect them that much last season. And just looking at their next 10, their next games coming up, they got Huddersfield, Wolves, Newcastle, Fulham, Cardiff, Brighton, and I think Liverpool's the next big game for them. So, yes, it's a huge loss, but I think they're going to be okay and they'll be able to ride through this one.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you, but it is interesting in terms of potentially lost early points. Let's run down the matches coming up this weekend. Cardiff-Newcastle's the first one at Cardiff City. I'm expecting Newcastle either win that or a draw. I think probably most likely a draw. Cardiff, one of the new teams expected to struggle and be in that relegation battle. Newcastle escaped last season, but Rafa Benitez very upset with Mike Ashley that he's not getting any money for signings. Whether Benitez is there at the helm or not a few weeks from now will be anyone's guess. But I expect this to be a Newcastle win or a draw. Do you see that the same way?
Yeah, definitely. When I look at the Cardiff line-up and the squad, it just stenches of championship for me. There's no real quality in there that jumps off the page. And Newcastle impressed me last week. I mean, obviously, I paid extra attention to that game. And in all honesty, I put my hands up. We were lucky to come away with 3 points. So they hit the post, they hit the bar. Yeah. They're not going to be a walkover this season at all. So yeah, I would agree. Newcastle to win that one, a draw at a stretch.
Yep. Next one at Goodison, Everton are going to host Southampton, and you know everyone was expecting a mediocre season from Everton, but Richarlison in fine form last weekend. They managed to come back 2-2, even despite being down a man for a large portion of that match. I thought that was a terrific result.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with losing Jagielka early on, and Charlotteson's just one of those players that when he's playing in a team he wants to play on, for a manager he wants to play for, he's got goals in abundance. So I'm expecting a great season for him if he can continue to form, obviously. And Southampton, another team that worries me on paper. I don't see the quality there. I don't see any player that's going to pick them up and drag them through the tough times. And I don't see enough goals.
Yeah, and that's always the problem with the promoted teams, isn't it, Tarl? I mean, they can solidify themselves defensively, put every man behind the ball and make themselves very difficult to break down. But at the end of the day, unless they're putting balls in the back of the net, they're going to have a great deal of difficulty over a 38-game season. We see that year in and year out with the promoted teams. Although one of the promoted teams that always surprised everyone was Leicester City. And this was a few years ago, of course, and they won the Premier League 3 seasons ago already. They are hosting Wolves at the King Power Stadium in Leicester. I fully expect this to be 3 points to Leicester, Tarl.
Yeah, and I mean, you just backed up what you said there. I mean, when Leicester came into the Premier League, they had goals in abundance, which is what I see from Wolves. I think Wolves have players on there that can score them goals. The flip side is I don't see anybody who can stop the goals. I think Wolves are going to be, a Liverpool, Newcastle of old. They're going to go out and try and win 4-3 every week. And realistically, I don't think it's going to happen for them. But they're going to be an exciting team to watch, and they're going to get their fair share of results. I see them staying up, but I think it's going to be a rocky road for them. But as far as this game's concerned, Leicester played a really, really strong game against Manchester United. I thought they were unlucky there.
I did too.
Harry Maguire building off a great World Cup. He's definitely a centre-back worth watching for them.
And my understanding, Tarl, is he's getting ready to re-sign a new contract at £250,000 a week.
Well, it's great news for them. Having followed them, but really watching him during the World Cup, watching centre-backs that can play with the ball and have the distribution that he does, everybody in the world wants one. So signing the contract's great. It means when they do sell him, they're going to get a lot more money. If they can keep hold of him, he's going to be a great asset for years to come.
All right, so we're both agreeing 3 points for Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Spurs Fulham. You'll be pleased to know, Tarl, I have 3 points for Spurs.
I'm not as confident. I think Fulham are a team that can cause us trouble, and I'm hoping this stadium thing isn't going to be too much of a distraction on the field. I mean, obviously it's supposed to be a home game, but who knows where we're going to play these games.
Well, this one for sure is going to be at Wembley.
Cause us trouble. Well, yeah, this one's going to be at Wembley, of course. I mean, in a few weeks' time when we play Man City, they're talking about Twickenham, which I believe is now off the table. So we'll see where we're going to call home. But as far as this game's concerned, I think Tottenham will edge it, but I don't think it's as straightforward as I'd like to think it would be.
So you're thinking a draw, or you're thinking 3 points?
You're holding my feet to the fire. I'm going to go draw.
Really? Okay. Well, we'll see. I think that's just the cynicism of the supporter with his own team, but that's all right. I think it's going to be 3 points. West Ham at the London Stadium hosting Bournemouth. I like the Hammers. I mean, unfortunately, for them they had a bad draw for their first match, but they've got some good players. Whether they're betting in properly is anybody's guess, but I don't think Bournemouth is really going to provide an awfully strong away foe for them. I like West Ham with all 3 points on this one too.
Yeah, 100%. There's another West Ham super unfortunate to meet Liverpool at the start of the season after the pre-season that Liverpool had. And they were just banging in goals for fun. So, unfortunate. You could see just from watching the game that they were trying to do the right things. I think Pellegrini is a good coach. He knows what he's doing. I just think it was bad timing on their part. I don't see them being that bad every week. And thankfully for them, they're coming up against a Bournemouth team that, again, on paper, they look a little bit championship to me. Yeah.
Well, were West Ham that bad or were Liverpool that good? I mean, I'm obviously a Liverpool supporter, but I'm going to tell you, I thought it was more Liverpool were that good. And I think West Ham were just a little slow out of the starting gate, given that it was the first match of the season. I actually think West Ham are a solid squad with a good manager, as we discussed. I think they're going to do mid-table or top half of the Premier League without a problem this season. So I like them with this match, and I think they'll be a fun team to watch, Tarl.
As much as it pains me to say, I would agree. And they may obviously bringing in Jack Wilshere into the midfield is going to help them. They were solid. It was just deer in headlights, opening weekend of the Premier League, and you're facing a juggernaut in Liverpool. Yep,
that's for sure. Chelsea-Arsenal at Stamford Bridge. And, as fascinating as it was, I mean, look, we were all really looking at Chelsea, scratching our head, thinking, how is Sarri-Ball going to be played? This isn't his team. He hasn't done much here. They had all the late off-season turmoil of the managerial change between Conte and Sarri. All the players, many players very disgruntled with Conte, it now finds out, including Willian, who said if Conte stayed, he was gone. But it does seem like, their first match, they looked pretty good, Chelsea. Everyone was expecting, including myself, that would have been a lot more difficult of a match. And they're playing an Arsenal team that I just don't know. For me, Arsenal, it was Unai Emery's first match in charge for sure. But they look just as bad as they did last year.
Yeah, as much the same for Arsenal, as much as that pleases me to say. Again, how unlucky are Arsenal opening up with Manchester City and then Chelsea?
Yeah.
It doesn't get much worse than that, especially as a new manager coming in, trying to impose his new ideas. So I think, unfortunately, just the way it is, it's going to look much the same for Arsenal for a few weeks until they can find some easier opposition and start to embed some of the new plans and the new style of play.
All right, we've got to go to break.
Come in and play.
Tarl, we've got to go to break. When we come back, let's pick up the other matches of the weekend and let's talk about this Raheem Sterling controversy that's starting to swirl. This is Fifth Street Soccer. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Ryan Burke. I'm the head cider maker at Angry Orchard, and we're in Brittany, France. I wanted to make Angry Orchard rosé cider out of my love for rosé wine. We came here and found these red-fleshed apples. It's a really rare fruit. The apple brings a right, refreshing, natural taste to the cider and a deep, nice pink rosé hue. Our rosé is a little bit less sweet. It's got a really nice balance for any occasion. It's a really refreshing drink.
Angry Orchard Cider Company, Walden, New York. Drink responsibly.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
From the creator of The Simpsons and Futurama,
this is a bad time to be coming down off of that high,
comes an epic tale.
I like war, but
I wouldn't say I love it, of growing up.
Isn't there a point in everyone's life where they need to go figure out who they are?
In the dark ages.
I want to get rid of all the diseases plaguing mankind and replace them with worse ones.
Disenchantment.
Anybody looks at her, they get their head chopped off.
Boy, did I look at her.
Only on Netflix.
All right, welcome back. Nick Geber, Tarl Smith. We're talking the Premier League and looking forward to this weekend's matches. And we'll be going through them in more detail, by the way, and we'll also be doing some handicapping of these matches as we get closer to Friday, I would imagine. The money lines aren't even published on them yet, so it's a little premature to talk about them. But Tarl and I are able to tell you who we think are going to win, and we did finish up in the last segment. Chelsea are going to be playing Arsenal. That is a massive London derby. Chelsea coming off an absolutely terrific away win against Huddersfield, where they didn't look remotely bothered whatsoever by that match. And all the talk about Maurizio Sarri you want to have, getting bedded in at Chelsea, didn't get to sign the players he wanted. I think that's possibly all a crock of poo-poo, because they certainly looked very good. On the other hand, Arsenal looked absolutely lackluster against Man City at home. You would have expected a slightly more stellar, or shall we say, a more steely home performance from the Gunners, who really looked like they just basically rolled over and played dead against the reigning champions. Tarl, this one for me, Chelsea.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a fan base would go, you'd be more worried right now if you're an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Especially seeing Petr Cech almost scoring his own goal,
yeah,
trying to pass the ball wide. It's going to be a Chelsea win.
Yeah, Arsenal are a team in some real trouble. There is no doubt about that. And we're going to discuss one of Arsenal's former greats, Ian Wright. Let's talk about some of the comments he's made about Raheem Sterling coming up after we finish our last matches. Watford-Burnley. I like Burnley at home for this at Turf Moor. It's always a difficult place to go play. I think Burnley are a decent squad. Watford, they can be good depending on what side of the bed they get out of, but I like Burnley for this one at home.
Yeah, this is a difficult one for me. I think Watford looked great. Well, maybe not great, but they played against Brighton, obviously not the strongest, but they did get the victory, and they do play some good attacking football at times. Burnley at home, normally more solid, but this is going to be the one where I disagree with you. I think I'm going to go with Watford on this one.
Going to go with the away team. All right, I like that. Was a 2-0 last week for Watford, right? And Burnley had the 0-0. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But I believe Burnley were away last weekend, so this is Burnley's home opener, and Watford are away, and that always with these teams. Remember, the 2-0 win against Brighton was at Vicarage Road, so they were at home for that match.
Yeah, they've certainly been better at home than they have been away. I think they haven't won in the last 13 away trips, Watford. But
well, you think it's going to change? You think it's going to change on Sunday, Tarl?
Yeah, let's hope so.
All right. Next, let's go to the Etihad, where Man City are going to host Huddersfield. This for me. If you're not going with Man City here, then you're just something wrong with you. It's going to be a massive upset if Huddersfield were to take anything whatsoever away from this match. I don't see that happening. For me, this one is quite an easy choice. I'm going to take Man City here.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. I can't slant it any other way. Huddersfield just not strong enough for this Man City squad currently.
Right, and keep in mind, if they got beat by Chelsea 3-0 at home, what are they going to do away at Man City? This match could get ugly.
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
Brighton at the Amex Stadium hosting Manchester United. Gosh, I wish I could say bad things about Manchester United, but I think the making Pogba the captain was a stroke of pure genius from Mourinho. This man still has tricks up his sleeve, and they certainly looked good last week in the season opener against Leicester, where they beat him 2-1 at Old Trafford. This time, obviously, they're on the road, but I still like Man United for this. This is going to be a Man United three-pointer for me.
It was interesting. Did anybody ever see that coming? But making Pogba the captain, it really was a genius move from Mourinho. All bets were on Pogba leaving, really.
Yeah, right.
And he comes back from the World Cup and empowers him with the armband, and the rest is as it is.
It wasn't even that, Tarl. You know, you add to that the comments that Mourinho made during their summer tour, their money-spinning tour of the ICC, talking about how, you know, he doesn't understand Pogba, he doesn't give United nearly the sort of performances that he puts in for the French national team. And really, you know, one kind of got the impression that this was a Mourinho tactic to drive more wedges in the locker room. And then, boom, there's the captain's armband. And I'll tell you what, quite a performance from Paul Pogba.
Yeah, it's a fantastic move. I would love to crawl inside Mourinho's mind, obviously. Was it a decision made? You guys just come back from, he's won the World Cup, let's empower him, or was it purely out of frustration, go on then, prove me wrong, which he obviously did?
Yeah, he challenged him, and I think Pogba will rise to the occasion. Look, Paul Pogba is a terrific player, and there's obviously something about him that made Manchester United buy him back at an exorbitant fee after essentially giving him away for nothing. So we all know what a great player he is. He just needs the right system, and he needs the right support around him. And I think Mourinho is not a fool. He is one of the greatest managers ever in the game of football, and that's not debatable. I'm not talking about the top 1 or 2 managers, but he's a top 10 manager historically in football. He's no dummy. He's going to get the best out of this guy.
Yeah, he plays the game perfectly on and off the field, and he's done it again. And let's see how well this Manchester United squad respond over the next couple of games to see really what they're about. But the omens are good right now, and I expect them to beat Brighton.
I do too. And lastly, my boys traveling to Selhurst Park to meet Crystal Palace. I see the same way for this match that I see for Man U going to Brighton. I thought Liverpool looked absolutely unstoppable in the season opener. And most importantly, most impressive for me were, it was 2 things. Number one is I thought Naby Keita looked absolutely irresistible out there in terms of everything started to seem to go through this guy from nowhere. And second of all the big guns firing again. Salah scoring, Mane scoring, Firmino setting up goals, Sturridge even coming on and having a goal. That's a good omen for Liverpool fans.
Yeah, Liverpool look unbelievable so far this season. I mean, they've still got those front three, they're so dynamic and fast and can find the back of the net. And Klopp's astute enough to realise that defensively they had a problem, and that's exactly what they went out and fixed. They are a great, great team that are going to put a lot of teams to the sword. Crystal Palace did well last week in terms of their game plan. They sat in against Fulham and they gave up possession and they hit them on a counter-attack. That's what they're going to try and do against Liverpool. I can't see them being as successful as they were last week. Liverpool to win this one.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this could be a 3-1 scoreline if I have to reach onto that thing I'm sitting on and pull out a number. That might be it. All right, that'll wrap up our discussions of the matches this coming weekend. I want to get to another story that Nick Webster and I spoke about briefly yesterday. Ian Wright came out and made some comments about Raheem Sterling and the criticism of Raheem Sterling, saying that he thought it was racially motivated, and that the reason that the media and many fans did not like Raheem Sterling and criticized his performances was because he was young, black, and successful, slightly gangster, if I have to kind of paraphrase what he's saying, and people were somehow threatened by that. I personally, by the way, couldn't disagree more, but apparently there's an argument to be made here in terms of Lord Owsley, who's the chairman of Kick It Out, is calling on the FA, the PFA, the LMA, that's the League Managers Association, the Professional Players Association, the Football Association, to stand up and do this. They're saying they're going to drive Raheem Sterling from England. What a load of bollocks.
These are always difficult situations, and these people, you have to walk around on eggshells as soon as somebody starts to throw the race card in the ring. I think he's being criticised because he doesn't play well for England. And that's the long and short of it. And I don't see him as a gangster. I see him as a small, skinny, scrawny athlete that got a gun tattooed on his leg.
Because he scores goals with that leg. I mean...
Yeah, he needs to improve his performances for the national team, and people will stop. I mean, he's not the only black player on the England team.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. No, look, I think this is kind of silly. I think number one is there's nothing gangster if you're a striker, a goal scorer, about having, flames on the leg that you score the goals with, or a rifle, or, a bomb, or whatever it is you want. Number one. Number two is I think the criticism of Raheem Sterling, and I mentioned this to Nick yesterday, I think is born out of disappointment more than anything. I think people would like to see him have what he doesn't have, which is that incredible finisher's touch, that Robbie Fowlerian gift of putting the ball in the back of the net from whatever angle you're facing it at. But he doesn't. He does bring all sorts of other things to the game. He opens up defenses. He's a terror. I mean, defenders have got to be wide-eyed in horror at this guy who's great on the ball, running at them at such speed and maneuverability, and passing the ball and crossing it in and doing all these things that he does. But he's not a natural finisher, and I don't think he ever is going to become one. And I think a lot of the criticism of him is just born out of disappointment, because if he does get that miraculously, he wakes up, he puts the big book of finishing under his pillow at night, and over the course of the night, via osmosis, it all goes into his brain. He will be truly a global mammoth superstar. That is the missing piece.
You took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say it was born out of frustration. Because we can all see what he's capable of. Like, he can, as you said, ghost past defenders for fun. Put him in front of the goal, he's going to miss it. And I think just watching him play for England during the World Cup and watching him try and play with Harry Kane, it was not a match made in heaven by any stretch of imagination. And
correct.
It's more out of frustration.
No, absolutely. But is it racist? Is it racist?
Well, no. No, it's just poor quality on the field.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And not even so much just poor quality. I mean, look, he's managed to put the goals away for City, hasn't he? Maybe it's just a system.
Well, that's what it is, because we see him do it week in, week out for Man City, and then when it comes to the World Cup, it just wasn't there. And when it's on the world stage, it's magnified.
Yeah, I mean, I think criticism of Raheem Sterling is definitely unfair. By the way, he scores the first goal for City's new season. Let's not forget that. Again, there you go. But is it racist? It's not racist. Is it fair to call him out for not scoring goals for England? I don't think it is, because I don't think the system really helps him out that much. I don't think the chemistry's right. But as a national team manager, you have to deal with who you're given. You don't have the luxury of being able to go and sign players that fit your system perfectly. So it just is what it is. But is it racist? No, it most certainly is not in my mind, Tarl. And one of the things that bothers me about this is, sort of like the boy who cried wolf, I think this really is going to detract from situations where we may have, there may be racism behind other things that happen. But if you're calling this one out, this guy is a multi-millionaire footballer, a staple part of Manchester City, a regular goal scorer for his club. It's just not fair. All right, Tarl, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful having you on. We'll have you on again.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Nick.
And we're going to step aside, take a break here on Fifth Street Soccer, and I'll be right back to wrap it up here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network and SB Nation Radio.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable. And save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. 800-405-2561. That's 800-405-2561.
Being a new parent means every high and low you can imagine. But Evos can make it all easier with a baby monitor you can trust. Go to myevos.com, that's MYEVOZ.com, to see how Evos can be the eyes and ears of your nursery. Evos works with your smartphone to provide a live audio and HD video connection to your baby anytime and anywhere. On a date, at work, away on business, even serving your country overseas, Evos helps you never miss a moment. Whether your baby is with a sitter, your partner, a grandparent, or a friend, you'll be right there too. And with unique features like smart alerts that know the difference between a barking dog and your baby crying, extensive sleep tracking data, and state-of-the-art security features for your peace of mind, Evos is the smart baby monitor for connected parents. And enter the code SPORTS at checkout for $20 off. That's myevos.com. MYEVOZ.com.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
All right, welcome back. Fifth Street Soccer, Sports Byline USA, SB Nation Radio, and American Forces. We're also on iHeartRadio, TuneIn. And if you're watching us live on Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, we're on Facebook Live. It is great to be with you. And apparently, we're also on Twitch to make it even better for you. So lots of ways to get to us. We would love to hear what you have to say and what your thoughts are. Again, Facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk. Twitter, should you so choose, is at Fifth Street Sports. And the website, fifthstreetsports.com. We like to let you know this is Fifth Street Sports, talk you can bet on. And if you're wondering, well, where's the talk bit that I can bet on? Going to be coming up a little bit later on in the week as we get closer to giving you some of our picks and values for the weekend so that you can make your wagers with a little bit of education and knowledge. And we will be introducing very shortly our very own service online where you can get our weekly picks, not just in soccer, but in NFL, college football, baseball, the whole range of sports. We have a whole slew of experts here at Fifth Street Sports all ready to give you their opinions. So be sure to check us out online, fifthstreetsports.com, as we get closer to that. And of course, the start of the NFL season. You will be able to hear Fifth Street Sports analysis on NFL and college football every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. starting next week right here on the Sports Byline Network. And we will bring you Fifth Street Soccer at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So you get Fifth Street Sports twice a day. You get the NFL, college football earlier in the afternoon, and then you get, of course, Fifth Street Soccer at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank my special guest, Tarl Smith. I want to thank you for putting up with me for this last hour, and I will speak to you tomorrow.